Let me start with a question that changed how I perceive pain. Why is it that you can dissect a childhood memory over and over in therapy, yet your lower back still aches when you get up in the morning? Logically, you know that you left that stressful job behind a long time ago. So why does your jaw tighten the second someone raises their voice? Here's the truth the mind doesn't tell you. Your brain is brilliant at rewriting stories, making excuses, and pushing forward no matter what. But your body cannot lie. While the mind keeps a diary, the body keeps the score. Trauma and chronic stress don't live in your thoughts, they live in your fascia, your muscle fibers, your organ meridians. The mind forgets to protect you from the pain of remembering. However, the body never forgets because its only job is survival, not comfort. So how can you tell? Simple. You feel a tightness that has no physical cause. You wake up sore without exercising. You carry tension in places that have never been injured. That is your body speaking a language your mind stopped translating long ago. Let's talk about it. Start with your neck and shoulders. If that area feels like a permanent weight, like you're carrying a backpack full of bricks, you are not imagining it. That rock-hard tension, those knots that won't release, that ache from the base of your skull to your shoulder blades. That is the physical imprint of carrying too much alone. It's the single parent doing it all alone. It's the eldest daughter who raised her siblings. It's the employee who absorbed everyone else's workload. The emotion here is overwhelm, overburdened, plain and simple. The suppressed feeling is a quiet, desperate whisper, I need someone to carry me for once. And the unmet desire is rest. Pure, unapologetic rest without guilt. In traditional Chinese medicine, the gallbladder and small intestine meridians run right through this zone, and when you've swallowed too many decisions and too much frustration, that energy gets stuck, turning flesh hard, like stone. Move up to your jaw. That clenching, that grinding at night, that soreness when you chew, the clicking that never gets checked. That is your body biting down on words you never said. Every time you stayed polite when you wanted to scream, every time you swallowed a truth to keep the peace, every time you smiled through rage, your jaw recorded it. The trauma here often goes back to childhood. Being punished for talking back, being told that your feelings were too much, learning that your voice was dangerous. The suppressed feeling is a hot, volcanic rage that had no safe exit. And the unmet desire is simple, to be heard without retaliation. To say, that hurt me, and not be punished for it. Traditional Chinese medicine sees this as stomach and large intestine energy, frustration that has nowhere to go, so it locks your mouth shut from the inside. Now bring your awareness to your chest, right behind your sternum. Do you feel a tightness there? A shallow quality to your breathing? A heavy weight that has no medical explanation? That is grief without tears. That is the diaphragm splinting itself because a full breath would mean feeling the full loss. This area holds every goodbye you never got to say, every betrayal that hollowed you out, every time your heart cracked and you pretended it didn't. The trauma here is often sudden. A death, a divorce, an abandonment, or worse, the slow erosion of being emotionally neglected as an infant before you had words. The suppressed feeling is sorrow that has no witness. The unmet desire is to be held. Not fixed. Not advised. Just held while you finally let the cry come. In traditional Chinese medicine, the lungs store grief and the pericardium stores shock. When they're blocked, you cannot fully exhale the past or inhale a new beginning. Slide your hand to your mid-back, right between your shoulder blades. That burning, gnawing ache that gets worse after an argument or an injustice. That is swallowed anger. That is resentment that you've been too nice to express. This is the person who always says, "It's fine," while their back knocks into concrete. It's the employee passed over for promotion, the partner who does more than their share, the friend who is always the listener and never the listened to. The trauma pattern here is chronic unfairness. Being scapegoated, taken for granted, or treated as invisible. The suppressed feeling is a slow burning fury that you've turned inward. And the unmet desire is justice. Recognition. Someone finally saying, "You didn't deserve that." Traditional Chinese medicine calls this liver qi stagnation. When anger has no outward release, it congeals into a band of fire across your back. Now your lower back. That dull, deep ache that worsens with cold, with fatigue, with yet another unexpected crisis. That is fear. Not the dramatic, heart-pounding kind, but the low-grade, never-ending dread that lives in your bones. This is the survivor of a near-death accident. The child who never knew which version of their parent would walk through the door. The person who lived through financial collapse or domestic terror. The feeling is not just anxiety, it is a primal, animal-level certainty that the world is not safe. The suppressed feeling is exhaustion from being hypervigilant 24 hours a day. And the unmet desire is stability. A predictable world where you can finally relax. In traditional Chinese medicine, the kidneys house the emotion of fear, and when fear becomes chronic, the lower back feels hollow, cold, and unsupported, as if the very foundation is eroding. Drop down to your hips. That deep, ringing tightness. That sense of being stuck when you try to move, to dance, to run. That is the psoas muscle, and it is one of the most emotionally intelligent muscles in your body. It connects your spine to your legs. It is literally the bridge between your survival brain and your ability to flee. When you experienced something that made you want to run, but you couldn't, when you froze instead of fought, when you dissociated to survive, your psoas recorded it. This is especially true for sexual trauma, physical restraint, or any situation where your body was trapped. The suppressed feeling is the urge to escape, that never got fulfilled. The unmet desire is to finally be allowed to flee, even if the danger is long gone. Traditional Chinese medicine understands this through the kidney and stomach meridians that cross the psoas, where frozen survival instinct becomes structural rigidity. Go deeper to your pelvis and sacrum. That clenching, that shame that feels physical, that cold ache right at the base of your spine. This is the vault where the deepest violations live. Invasive medical procedures, being shamed for bodily functions as a child, all of it lands here. The sensation is not just pain, it is a pulling inward, a hiding, a desire to make yourself smaller so you won't be seen or touched. The emotion is shame so profound it feels like a toxin in your blood. The suppressed feeling is terror that never thawed because no one ever said, "That should not have happened to you." And the unmet desire is to reclaim your body as your own. To feel clean. To let go of the clenching without fear. Traditional Chinese medicine identifies the Ren Mai, or conception vessel, and the kidney and liver channels here. Shame blocks the lower dantian, which is your body's root of vitality and worth. Finally, your legs and feet. Tight calves, restless legs at night, cold feet even in summer, a sinking sensation when you try to stand up straight. This is the collapse after too many years of standing your ground without support. It's the refugee who had to flee and never rooted again. The child who was forced to kneel as punishment. The adult who ran from an abusive home and never stopped running. The emotion here is a deep, pre-verbal exhaustion with the very act of being upright. The suppressed feeling is, I don't want to do this anymore, and the unmet desire is to be carried. To have the earth hold you instead of you holding yourself together. So here is what I want you to take away. Every knot, every ache, every mysterious tightness is not a malfunction. It is a message. Your body is not betraying you, it is finally telling you the truth. Healing begins not when you force the muscle to relax, but when you ask it, what are you holding that I refuse to feel? Because you are full of stored history. And history, when listened to, can finally begin to move. I hope this information was helpful. If so, please hit the like button and give it a thumbs up or share with someone you know who may benefit. Look out for part 2, which will cover how to unfreeze the body to help you get your life back. See the comments for links to my free ebook on how I healed my candida and fungal overgrowth naturally. Also the protocol to help you do the same. Thank you.